need them? No, bitch, it's not.
There we go. Finally got it working. And the vacuum's going upstairs. That's great.
Yep.
So we are finally, hey, 2 shows in a row. Nobody's missed. That's great. We're
Right?
doing good. We are doing good. So, I think Zach put it up here for us, but today's topic is grieving living children.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
It is a real thing. I need to share this out. Mason texted me this morning, sent me a picture of a haunted doll from Arizona that he thought I might want.
Oh, we'll have Jesse go pick it up.
Yeah, not for $30. Let's see.
You don't want to pay to be haunted?
No. I think
No?
I can conjure them up myself.
I just give birth to them.
Mm-hmm. That too. Okay. Are we showing that we went live anywhere? I hope.
I have no idea. I am on my phone.
Hey, at least it connected to your phone. We were having that issue with Eileen's phone. It wouldn't connect.
Well, she has to copy the link and then open up a web page.
Okay.
And then do it that way. Yeah, it was not letting me connect through the messenger or anything like that. So
okay.
I tried to outsmart it.
Okay. So let's see. Things. Showing live on our page, showing live on things. Okay, good.
All right. So good morning, everyone. I hope this week has been well for you. Everybody showed me their pictures of the Northern Lights, and I didn't get to see them last night.
I didn't either.
I did not see one thing. And trust me, I unplugged all the lights, and I laid out here, and for some reason, a couple of streets down, somebody was taking pictures of it, and I'm going, I still can't see it. Am I just not meant to see it?
Some people were saying you could only see it with the camera, but others were seeing it with their eyes. I don't know. We got too many lights in the backyard. I couldn't see nothing.
I was all about seeing the back of my eyelids yesterday. So.
Yeah. It was 10 to 4. Something like that was the best time to say, no, I'm good.
Yeah, no, that's my night time. I'm a grandma. I need my sleep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That scared me. I thought we were running over the top of somebody, which we shouldn't be. And it was the tarot card readings earlier. We're good.
So grieving living children. Well, I guess I get to do this part again in my life. You know, when you say enough is enough, and you have to walk away.
Daddy's tools, like a big girl.
She's working with daddy's tools like a big girl. Well, that's good.
And you know what? I just closed the door from the other room, and I said, I need nails. And I go in there, and the puppy wasn't there.
You don't need nails. Go get your brother, crazy girl.
And Mama, I have like marker, and I have like tape, and I like a thing where you see how high is it, and I had it like this thing where it's like you have to grab a nail and like hammer it to the wall. Yeah, I'm trying to do it on that little stand.
Okay, why don't you go get Nate, and Nate can probably help you.
Yeah, because I said I need nails, and I go in there. The little puppy is right next to the sex thing.
The
Let's see.
The flashlight?
No, the fluffy.
Oh, the fluffy. The
Yeah.
baby's bouncy thingy.
No,
No?
it's like round and it's pink and pink.
Please excuse me while I go save the baby's toys.
The baby's toys, why are they in danger? Oh my gosh. That child is quite the mess. She's between 5 years old and 25. Let me see if we can figure out. This is a new studio for us, and it is it's definitely different than StreamYard or anything else. So it's all trial and error at this point. And I think we're probably going to have to get on the phone for, yeah. Okay.
So, the dog was in the insulation,
Mm,
not the baby's toys.
okay. Wow. Oh, that was the fluff. Okay.
Yes. Yes, the fluffy stuff. The pink
Okay.
fluffy stuff.
Okay. Okay. So talk to us about grieving living children and how that can happen.
Well, this isn't the first time that, I've been through this. I, when you have a child that's addicted to drugs or is making choices that affect the rest of your family,
Mhm.
you have to walk away.
Yeah.
As painful as it is, you have to think about the ones that are underneath your roof. You have to protect the ones that you're still raising. And it's not saying that you don't love that child, right? Because you do. You never stop loving your children. But there is real, abuse that goes with that. And it's mental and emotional. And there's only so much that one person can take until you just have to walk away. And it's like losing a piece of you.
Yeah.
Even though you know that that child is still living and you can't be a part of the bullshit. There's no other politically correct way to put it. It's just you can't. And you have to make choices that are hard. And I tell you what, it's the hardest thing in the world to do. It really is. Especially when they're adults and they come with littles. Um I'm sure a lot of parents have been in my shoes to where they get tired of being the scapegoat. They get tired of, having the blame put on them when they do nothing but support, the relationship and support their child. I can support you in your choice, but that doesn't mean I have to be a part of your choice. And it's not that,
Hey, Nick.
like in my case, go ahead.
I said, hi, Nick.
Oh, hey, Nick. Um, and it's not saying that I love my child any less. No, I love them enough to walk away. I just, in my case, I can't be the reason why you're always fighting. I'm 1,500 miles away. I do nothing to cause any issues. So, oh, screw it. You know what? I don't care anymore. You know what? If my future daughter-in-law gets mad, tough toodles, because she's the one that put me in there. She, for this is obviously really emotional. For the past 5 years, I've done nothing but support my son and his relationship. And I have been team them since day one. I have been put through the ringer emotionally and had my grandchildren used against me. And that I don't play the pawn game with the children. it hurts. It hurts the child more than it hurts, anybody else. And I love my grandchildren, and I don't want them to be pawns. I cannot afford to walk on eggshells and to watch everything that I say and everything that I do to appease one person.
No.
I just can't anymore. And especially when you don't know what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And, when you're consistently disrespected by the other party and they're like, I didn't disrespect. I would have never talked to my mother-in-law the way that I've been talked to, and and disregard her grief and disregard her feelings, thinking that, you know better.
I don't speak to mine
No.
that way now.
Right.
We don't do that.
Yeah, and I'm finding I'm not the only person in this predicament, and I want to let people know it's okay. It's okay to walk away. You have to walk away. I don't expect my son to stick up for me. I don't expect my son to defend me. That's not his job. What I do expect him to do is say, you know what? You are not going to do this anymore. These are my children as well. This is my mother. And you're not going to you're not going to disrespect her name in front of the children.
Yep.
It's just it's bullshit.
Yep. And it's the same thing if, let's say we all have our boundaries. We all have them.
Mhm.
Now, some are way further out than mine, and that's okay. But there was a point in time that I had to walk away because a child was doing things they should not have done, and my boundaries were stealing, lying to me,
Mhm.
things like that. Not just lying to me about where they went or something like that. These were grown children, and the lies and the last straw was stealing, and it's like, okay.
I get that, because you know what, this situation on my end started off with nothing but a lie. And then when I went to go protect my feelings because I was lied to, I was in the wrong.
Right.
And then I wasn't a part of the pregnancy. I wasn't a part of this. I wasn't a part of that. And I was the one to blame. I was the evil one because I had made the comment from the start, if this is the way it's going to be, then just walk away, because I'm not going to put this baby in the middle of this.
Yep.
I am not going to have this baby be a pawn. That is not my job. That is my job is to say, no, I'm going to protect the child from this type of abuse, because it is abuse, not only on my end, but on their end too.
They suffer. And we're seeing that they're little. Yours are little right now. And we're seeing it on this end. They're not little anymore. They are grown children, and the grandmother has been spoken about badly. How much of it is true? I don't know. That's not my place to figure that out. But it's they now have no respect for her whatsoever. They don't speak to her. They do not come, when she goes to the hospital, things like that. They live down the road. Nobody comes. Nobody says, happy birthday. Nobody says anything. Starla.
Hey, Star.
Is saying hello.
And that's the thing is, I went several Mother's Days without a phone call. And then, of course, we all know that I lost my son. And I went a couple of years without hearing from my kids on the day that he died. And I was expected to call them. No, that's not the way that goes. That was my child. And see, and that's where this all started. This last episode started. I got a phone call, and in the middle of the night, and one of the kids that I watched grow up and I loved very much passed away. And I was given the details about, how it had happened. And I made a comment that it sounds like A, B, and C happened. And I have a medical background, and I know what I'm talking about. Well, this got back to somebody else. that I had said this, and obviously it really had upset, the mother. But on the same aspect, she put my son's name in the obituary without asking me. That's my son. No blood relation to you, no nothing. You would think that you would approach the parent and say, listen, I'm going to go ahead, even though we're not on speaking terms, I'm going to put your son in the obituary. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
None of that happened. And then to have his funeral on the day that my son committed suicide, you would think that you would give that mother a heads up that this is going to happen. I supported all of that until I got a nasty gram from my future daughter-in-law. And it was, how dare you say this? And how embarrassing is this? And I went, whoa, why is it embarrassing to you? And why are you speaking to this person about me anyways? If this person called you up to complain, you say, well, I am not my mother-in-law. Here is her phone number. If you have something to say about it, you need to call her. This is not my business. And that's what should have happened. But instead, daughter-in-law listened to what this woman had to say. Then she contacts me and she rips my ass about it. And I'm going, no, little girl, no, that's not the way that this works. You need to grow up enough to get your nose out of somebody else's business. And she didn't like it. At that time point, we're in the week of my son's passing.
Mm-hmm.
I have enough that I am going through. It doesn't get easier at all. The grief just does not. It just changes. So I'm dealing with my own emotions with losing this child. And I am dealing with my own emotions on how this is all being played out. And here you are completely disrespecting me once again and my feelings upon the matter because you only matter. At that point, I really started to dig deep inside of myself and to ask myself, is this worth it?
Mm-hmm.
Is this truly worth it? And you were with me every step of the way with this. I decided that it was not worth it. My 6-year-old daughter and my 13-year-old son, my 13-year-old was thrown underneath the bus. I've got to protect him. He still lives underneath my roof. Even though he makes his own choice, he made his choice. I respect it and I'm standing by it. Right?
Yep.
My 6-year-old, she does not understand why she can't say hi to her nephews.
Mm-hmm.
All she knows is that she loves them. She doesn't understand why. She's asked me 4 times to call her brother this week. 4 times. And I'm telling her no. And it breaks my heart to tell her, no, honey, we can't call them. And I'm not, obviously, I cannot explain to her why.
Yep.
But she's already lost enough in her life, too, that I don't need her to think that everybody in her life is going to walk away. Yeah, and that's where...
That's how abandonment issues start.
Right, and she's already been abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not cool on my end. It really isn't. And she didn't have an easy start coming into this world, considering I was pregnant when I lost my son with her.
Mm-hmm.
And my family was already, it was already broken.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to put the pieces back together. And if somebody wants to step in there and try to take those pieces out and to change them,
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not going to do that. This is my family. This is my life. And I need to figure it out. I don't need any extra baggage attached.
Mm-hmm.
So this past week, I sent my son a message. I did a lot of praying. I talked to my bishop and we did praying on it. And I said, I have to walk away. I have to walk away because I do not want this trauma to be passed on to my grandkids I do not want this trauma to be passed on to my youngest. I don't need that trauma anymore. I don't need that abuse. I don't need it's abuse, mental and emotional.
Yeah.
Weapons. I don't need it. And I love my kids enough to walk away from my kids. So now I'm in the process of how to navigate my life without him.
That, and that's it's also a choice. It's a choice on the kids' end. It's a choice on the parents' end, and you just have to navigate the best choice. Which one is it? What's best for everyone? Now, that's not saying that there's not going to be trauma regardless, because now these kids that knew you do not.
Right.
And the young man who would call mom for any little thing cannot. So one person, and now I can understand if you were trying to split them up, if you were, bad mouthing them to the kids, if you were doing something terrible, but none of that happened.
No,
So,
and that's the hard part is when you've done nothing but give and you've done nothing but love unconditionally, and in the end you're still wrong and you're still the bad guy. I'm not somebody's scapegoat. So if I'm going to be somebody's scapegoat, I'm just going to walk out of the situation.
yeah. Well, that's like, where do you draw the line with your children? If, and not just children, I mean, we can extend this to friends, family, whatever. Let's say one of your kids committed murder. Yes, you still love them, but you can't have that cancer in your family.
No, I'm not going to put up with that BS. I'm not. Right.
Or molestation, or something where it can affect the rest of the family.
Having somebody who's a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real thing, and I'm sure that I'm not the only parent out there that we have a child that does drugs, but I'm not going to have those drugs in my home. I'm not going to have them on my property, and I'm not going to have them around my kids. I have to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not saying that I love that child any less. I'm saying, no, I'm not going to deal with it. You make the choice. You're the adult now. It is your consequence. It is no longer my consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to live with that. And that's okay. That is by far more than okay. And that's hard because then you sit down and you wonder about that child, right? You're constantly, if you're, thinking about that child, you're praying about that child, you're wishing that child the best, and you want to reach out and you want to help that child. But when you've done everything that you can to help that child,
Yeah.
you have to learn how to walk away. You have to put yourself first.
Yeah. Hey, Jeremy, EV Bucks is working. Look, and it's working on a phone. Come to find out, you have to copy and paste the link into an actual browser. You can't just click it.
So how do you walk away from a child? How do you grieve a child that's still living? It is very much grieving like the death of a child because they are no longer a part of your life. And until I can't say that these kids are never going to be a part of my life again. A lot of growing up has to happen. A lot of change has to happen. A lot of realization of one's place in the family has to happen. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm the mother-in-law. You need to do this, 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 and this. I'm not that type of mother-in-law, but I can be a 1950s mother-in-law. Trust me, I can. And even the mother-in-law that I have now, or I'm going to be having, we've walked away from her because she can't make the right decisions when it comes to prioritizing family.
Mm-hmm.
And it blows my mind. It blows my mind on how selfish some people can be with, how do I want to put this? It's just selfishness.
What on earth?
I can't do, I don't know, I can't see comments.
Made spaghetti squash so good. Drool. What? What?
But honestly, how I walking away from anybody because they're toxic is hard. Whether it's a mother-in-law, whether it's a child, whether it's a friend, it's definitely the same grieving process.
Hi,
Same
Carl.
exact grieving process. Hey,
Good
Carl.
morning, bud.
And working with energy.
You feel their energy long before it even happens, and you're hoping you're wrong. And that's, it's for your own sanity. I mean, there's finally a saying now that's around, blood does not make you family. It absolutely does not. You choose your family. And that's a whole lot better than, you have to cut out otherwise you live a terrible, terrible existence. And
Right.
you get shit on, you get talked about, it goes to the next generation, then the next generation, and pretty soon you're a picture on the wall. And they go, that one was evil. Because the stories have just compounded.
Right. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to be anybody's evil in the story. I don't want to be the villain in anybody's story. That's not my goal in life. My goal in life is, well, my saying, I love you where you're at, not where you could be, not where you should be, and not what you were, and not what you're going to be. I will love you where you're at. And you've known me for how long? That's my go-to. I'm going to love the children that are not a part of our life where they're at. And when they decide that they want to be a part of our lives again, they're still going to have to respect my boundaries.
Star was letting you know that her squash was done. That's what that was.
I used to help everybody before my son passed away. Mm-hmm. I used to be the go-to person, and I gave, right? And when Pat died, everybody gave to me in that moment. But when I wasn't the same person, they walked away. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to be that person again. That is a traumatic blow to who I was. Yeah. And this is who I am now. And I have to find myself. And I was never allowed that time to find myself on who I was. I had other kids to take care of. I had to worry about everybody else. And I really put myself last. And then I gave birth. And then I had the priority of the baby. And then one day I sat down and I went, I'm done. I think you remember that. I'm done. I am walking away from everyone. I am going to reevaluate my position in everybody's life, and I'm going to reevaluate who I am right now. And it took 1.5 years to find myself, to regrow myself, and I had to throw a lot up to God. Mm-hmm. And I decided on who I wanted in my life from that point. Yeah. And ever since that point, I've been the bad guy. So I'm not just grieving children that I've lost. I'm grieving friendships that I've lost. I'm grieving a life that I once had. Mm-hmm. As I don't have that anymore. And not that I want it again.
No, not with that. Star says people grow up, but people don't always adult correctly. It's unfortunate.
It is. It is unfortunate. And it is what it is. I'm a very private person. As much as I express on here, I'm a very private person. I don't let a lot of people close to me. I'm not a pinwheel anymore, to where, you spin and I'll give you whatever is on the board. Mm-hmm. I'm not that anymore. I have limits and I have boundaries. Mm-hmm. And they're very clear boundaries. And I don't care who you are, you're not going to cross and stomp on those boundaries. When I am done, I am done. And it's not that I hold grudges. I don't hold grudges, because if I held grudges, I'd be way down on this couch and I would never get up off of it. I'm just going to let go.
And you also have to rebuild when a child either passes, or anybody, a child passes, friends leave, a child is no longer in the dynamic, you have to rebuild your family dynamic without that person. So it is rebuilding again.
Mm-hmm. Over and over.
Yeah. What does it look like? And, here comes Christmas, and this is
right. We got the holidays.
This is what I do. Wait, okay. So I'm not going to do this. So let's figure out what we are going to do instead of what we did.
It makes me appreciate what I have even more.
Mm-hmm.
And what I have is I have a wonderful stepson and future daughter-in-law. And I have two handsome grandsons. and I appreciate them regardless of what the other kids are doing. But it makes me appreciate their love and their friendship even more.
Here we go. Jeremy says, holding grudges means you're letting that person know that they're still affecting you. Letting go of the grudge frees you, and you become more indifferent to that person. Yeah.
You're right, Jeremy. Yeah, I have a lot of people talk to me about forgiveness. How do I forgive? You necessarily don't have to forgive. And this one particular person goes, but the Bible also states that if you can't forgive, to give it to God.
It also states an eye for an eye, but that's not how we do things.
Right. Give it to God. I know not everybody believes the way that I believe, but I believe that if I pass it to God, it is no longer my burden anymore. Mm-hmm. If I can't figure out how to forgive somebody in this moment, maybe 5 years from now, I will learn how to forgive. I will figure something out. I will have another tool in my toolbox to be able to pull that back out and say, okay, God, I'm ready to approach this now. And now I know better. Now I know how to do this. So I forgive this person, but I do not have to forgive anybody, and I do not have to forgive. But that does not mean that I will hold it against them. I just drop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just walk away from it, and I don't let it affect me, because if I let it affect me, like I said, I would never get off this couch.
Everybody does it so differently. I mean, I have to think, okay, if that person dies tomorrow or I die tomorrow, does that really matter? Did any of that really make a difference? And if the answer is no, then that's where I drop it and walk away. Now, if the answer is yes, I'm probably going to go get in a fight. But,
I think I approach it about the same way. Like, if that person dies tomorrow, is it going to affect me? Well, if she does pass away tomorrow and whatnot, it will definitely affect me. Mm-hmm. I will know in my heart that I did the best that I could, and that I loved her the best that I could. Mm-hmm. On her end, it doesn't matter anymore.
That's the bottom line.
She'd be gone.
Can we live with that decision?
Right.
And because whoever's left, can they live with that decision that they made and know that they made it in good faith, with all the answers, and, just walk away there.
And when it comes to my children, when I walked away last week, I said, I will love you forever. You will forever be my son. I'm doing this because I don't want my name to be a weapon against you. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing this for selfish reasons. I'm doing it for everybody in the picture. I'm doing it for the grandkids. I'm doing it for your siblings. And it comes down to consequences with the siblings. So he needs to think about that too. That's not my decision to make.
Yeah.
If he's willing to accept this behavior, then he accepts this behavior. I respect that, but that doesn't mean I have to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be the one to think about, well, how did it affect my 6-year-old little sister? How did it affect my 13-year-old brother? How does it affect my 18-year-old brother? How does it affect the rest of the family by one person's actions? And I'm not telling him to make the choice between me and her. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that for my family, I have made the decision. And that family includes him.
Yeah. Well, the thing is it's not the first time. It is not like this is an ongoing pattern, and it just gets worse each time. And it always comes back to some made up thing that was said that happened that never happened, or something was misconstrued. Instead of saying, "Hey, how'd you mean this?" or "Hey, what'd you mean by this?" That's not what happened. And it's because, if you have somebody constantly telling you something, you're going to start believing it regardless of who you are. You're going to start acting on it without even realizing you're acting on it. And it's the same type of situation there.
Mm-hmm. It is. And you're absolutely right. It's not the first time. It's not the second time. It's not the third time. It's not the fourth time. Now it's just the last time.
Sometimes you have to learn to walk away from things that don't appreciate you. Family mental illness. I have it on mine. Some people aren't willing to grow and make their minds better. Or sometimes they need some time to realize what's gone and what's no longer a part of your life. When you start missing Christmases, you start missing holidays, you start having to sneak to call your family. That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Narcissism is what that is.
Narcissism. Yeah, it's complete narcissism on the other person's part. It's complete control, and it's abuse. It is abuse, and people don't understand that mental and emotional abuse sticks with you for a lifetime. I may have gotten the crap beat out of me as a kid, and I have scars from it, but I've learned to grow past that. But the name calling, the fighting, the hurtful words, those don't go away. Those are repeated in your head, and it takes so much more time to get over that mental abuse. The emotional factor, emotional abuse is the worst one. Emotional abuse is completely uncalled for. You cannot abuse somebody emotionally and expect them to be okay. For them to just lay down and repeatedly take it and take it and take it and take it and take it. So when you have a child that is completely disrespectful in your emotions and your mental state and cannot view you as a human, you have to walk away.
Okay, some people don't care for that, and even if they do,
the narcissism in them will never let it go because they have to be right. That is mental illness.
Yeah.
Well, and the problem is in today's society, I call it the keeping up with the Joneses, but we're not going to talk to the Joneses. We have a lack of awareness for everybody else's situation. If I see somebody in the grocery store, I'm not going to give them a dirty look. If I make eye contact with anybody in a grocery store, I don't know what kind of day they're having. I don't know what kind of person they're having, but I'm still going to give them that respect, and I'm going to smile at them.
Yeah.
Why? because that's our job as humans. That's being empathetic towards somebody. That's not pushing your shit onto somebody else's plate, right? If I'm having a bad day, I try very hard not to take it out on everybody. I walk away from the situation and I breathe. I may call you, I may call Jesse, and I may yell to you. I'm not yelling at you, and I may be frustrated and I may cry and I may break down. On the other end, you know that I'm not taking it out on you.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to do that with anybody else, I'm not saying everybody else, but if I were to do that with Blow Schmo down the street, they'd be like, oh my God, she took her bad day out on me. And who does she think she is? No, I'm not taking my bad day out on you. I'm expressing that I'm human. I have emotions and I need some empathy. We lack empathy. We don't know who our neighbors are anymore. We don't know who the person behind us in the grocery store is. We have no true human connection. The only thing we have is this phone in our hands, or the computer, or our TV, or our smartwatches, and we're off in our own little world, and we think that we're the most important person in the world, and that everybody should view us that way. No, we're not. You are not less important than me. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that's like Zach, now I smile at everybody, and there's times I have to, when we're like ordering or something, he has no tone. And I'm like, hey, I've been on the other side of that where I'm at that window. So, don't act like you're pissed for whatever reason. He will walk up in Walmart, and I don't care who it is. If they're wearing any kind of a hat, Navy, Army, whatever it is, he'll come up and say, thank you for your service, no matter what. Always.
Mm-hmm.
And he's scared a few of them because he'll walk behind them and touch them on the shoulder. Hey. And they're like, usually they're 70s and 80s. And they're like, what?
Right. You're going to rob me?
Yeah. But, always, like today we went to Walmart, and there was people there that you have to check yourself sometimes. You really do. And you can either go, what is that? Or you can smile and let them know you accept them for whatever it is, whatever they're doing. It not my problem. They're not going home with me. I don't care.
About the only time that I don't do that is when I have somebody that is barely dressed. All right.
Well, this was dressed, but
and I cover my kids' eyes and I go, you don't need to see that. Because it's a complete. If I see somebody that is barely dressed, it is completely a disrespect lack. They're just being disrespectful to everybody else's eyes.
True. I mean, like I posted on Facebook a while back, it was National Coming Out Day. I'm a safe space. Do whatever you want to do. You need to talk, come talk. I'm here. But in Walmart, I don't want to see your parts hanging out your skirt.
Yeah, keep your bits in.
Yeah, while your
I don't want to see what your mama gave you.
Well, your daughter is, Abby's age, walking next to you, not realizing anything is wrong. And,
or your son or their son is with them and they think that that's acceptable.
Well, this was, at birth in a miniskirt and makeup with things hanging out. I did not. I smiled and I walked by. That's all I did. I don't know what happened in this person's life. I don't. But I really had to check myself before I did that. Because there was so much I could have done, said, looks, but I didn't. I did not.
I just moved forward. I move forward unless they're behind me in line, and then that's when I tell my kids to keep their eyes forward.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm rude about it, but my kids don't have to see that.
No, and they also don't need to be in the bathroom with
With that.
an opposite sex.
Yep.
I mean, if you have that part, you belong in that part's bathroom. If you
Amen.
have the other part, then you belong in that part's bathroom. I don't care what you want to dress like. I really don't. You get that part removed, come on in my bathroom.
But respect me, respect my child, respect my boundaries. That's the respect of the boundaries. Like, I will respect you for being you, but you have to respect me for being me.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time with that in today's world, where it's, well, you need to respect me. You need to respect me. You need to respect me. And it doesn't matter what we're talking about.
Yeah.
No, I don't need to respect you if you can't respect me. If you cannot respect me, I do not have to give that respect back. I do not have to acknowledge you. I do not have to accept it. But what I will do is I will go home and I will pray and I will move on.
Yeah, that's a thing that happened when the grandkids were here, seeing somebody on the street doing drugs. No, I do not respect that. You go do that in your home if that's what you want to do. You're not going to bring it to my kids and act like, oh, this is an everyday thing. It's okay. It is not.
Yeah, it's not okay. If you want to do that, that's just fine. You go into the privacy of, you go harm you.
Yeah.
And you only. If you are harming you and you only, that is perfectly fine by me, if that is your choice that you want to do. But the second that you bring anybody else into it, I cannot accept that.
Yeah.
I can't. And see, and that's that whole thing. If walking away from people who are toxic.
Yeah.
If you want to be that way, that's perfectly fine. You be that way, you affect you. But do not affect everybody else around you. If you want to do A, B, and C, that's your right. I'm not going to hold it against you, but I will the second that it affects A, B, and C in my life.
Yeah.
No.
Like,
no.
There was a man the other day, homeless is what I gathered. But he had his bike parked where we were parking. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay." You can tell he had been abused, as for being there or being himself. And of course, my first reaction, "You're okay. It's fine." And so he starts talking to Zach. And the more this man talks, the more I realize he's on something. Which he didn't do it in front of me. Not my problem. And he started telling his life story, and I'm standing here talking to him while Zach's trying to walk, one step toward the store. And I'm just standing there talking to him. And I'm like, okay. And then I realize he's not comprehending anything other than what he's saying, and it's not making sense either. But I'm still standing there talking to him, because when was the last time maybe somebody talked to him as a human?
Right.
And, we stood there and talked to him for a little bit, and then we came out. He asked for a quarter, and we didn't have a quarter. We had the card. And he didn't get his quarter. But, he ended up threatening as we were leaving. But, that's on him. That's not on us. We did what we were supposed to do.
You didn't treat him like trash.
No. And I'm that way with everyone, unless they want to harm someone else. And then we have a problem. Speaking of, just a warning for everybody. In this little town, not little, but in this town, on the page, there was a dad and a grandpa took their kids to the park. And they had a little girl that was 12. No, she was 10. And the grandpa was letting her have her space to go over there and play. And he saw two kids come up to her. And one of the kids said they were 12. The other one said they were like 13, 14. And he said, absolutely not. And the little kid said, absolutely not. They were much older. And they were trying to ask questions, which for us would have been normal questions. What grade are you in? What's your name? What school do you go to? Things like that. But the way it was done, the little girl got scared. And she tried to walk away, and they followed her. Hey, bestie, where you going? And the grandpa finally intervened and said, come on, let's go. We got to go over here. And come to find out after they posted that, that's been a huge, they're having kids to recruit for the sex trafficking.
See, and that's part of paying attention to other people and what's going on around you. Yeah, you have to.
It's such a fine line. I mean, those are questions we would have never thought about, because there's how many schools in every town. You want to know what school they go to make sure that, hey, I might go to school with you. And
Well, no, we do that as an adult. Like, didn't I go to high school with you? Well, what school did you go to? Well, I went to this school. Well, I went to this one. I went to that one. Yeah, I mean, it's even in adulthood, we have those questions.
there's
But
such
nowadays,
a line, though. I mean, how do you navigate that line between being nice and giving too much information? You have to be
right?
wary of everyone now.
And that's sad. Today's world is it's completely
Ugly.
ugly. It's an ugly, 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 ugly world that we live in. And we just, I don't know. We need Jesus.
We need a lot of things in this world, because
We need Jesus. I say that on a daily basis. I pray and I'm like, Jesus, we need you. Just come down here and smack a few people around, please. Please.
yeah, it's ugly, but I mean, what can you do at that point? You have to just try to be nice as you can, without, I guess,
Well, and that's the thing. That's another thing is if you don't agree with somebody, don't belittle them. Be nice.
Yeah.
Be respectful. I have people that okay. I'm pretty hard set in my faith, and I have people that question my faith. That's fine. You can question it, and you can ask me questions, and I have no problem answering you.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no problem having a conversation with you. I have no problem listening to what you believe, but don't tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me that I'm wrong. Don't tell me. Don't belittle me. Because you don't believe what I believe.
Yep.
That's not how this works. If I have given you the common respect and courtesy of telling me what you believe, or you telling me what you believe, then you have the common courtesy to understand that I don't believe that, and you're not going to make me believe what you believe.
Yep.
I've seen things in this life that most people haven't, that have reassured my faith and set me in my ground. And I am who I am, so you just got to accept it.
That's it.
And if you can't accept who I am, just like I told the kids this week, you can't accept who I am walking away. Because this is me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's final. I am who I am, and I love me. I am happy where I am at. I am happy with me. I'm not saying I am perfect, because I am far from perfect. But every morning I wake up, I don't wake up with violence in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up and I want to make a difference in the world. I want people to feel love again. I want people to feel accepted. I want people to know that it is okay with what they are struggling with. It is okay with what they are going through, and that everything's not going to just be okay one day, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
And if you want to work with me, I will work with you.
Mm-hmm.
I will walk with you every step of the way. But the second that you become emotionally, mentally, or physically violent against me,
Yep.
I'm going to walk away.
Yep.
Because that's not what I want in my life. That is not what I need in my life. And I have that choice. And I don't care if you respect that choice or not. It is the choice that I am going to make.
Yep. Okay. We are at time.
Oh, we are.
Yeah. So we will figure out next topic 2 weeks from today.
Yes. We have no idea what it's going to be because we don't know where we're going to be at 2 weeks from today.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I'll get to see you.
We're hoping.
And we're hoping. We're hoping. Because I can't live without you. It's been a couple of months.
Get in the car. Come on.
I'm about ready to.
Plenty of room.
So remember, everybody, walk away from a situation, even if it is your kids, if it is harming you, it is okay to walk away. And yes, it hurts and it sucks, but they make their own choices. They're adults. They do what they need to do. And when they're ready, they'll come back to you. And it's okay if you still say no. Just don't do it with hate and violence. Just do it with love and understanding that everybody is their own and that they're adults and they make their own choices.
Yep. Yes, they do, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. And if anybody needs just to talk, I am here.
Okay.
And I won't judge. It's not my job. That job was not given to me, which I don't want that responsibility in judging anybody. So
No, that's no.
yeah.
All right. Well, we will see everybody next 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Love you guys where you're at. You guys have a good weekend. Bye.